What's up, everybody? Alex here. Welcome back to another video, and welcome to another vinyl finds, buys, acquisitions. The I have a problem part of this fun YouTube thing. So to be fair, I had some travel that was scheduled over the last couple of weeks that ended up getting canceled due to some mechanical issues with the flight that I was on. Because of that, Delta was like, we feel so bad for you. Here is $500 in a gift card. It expires in like 3 months. It wasn't 3 months. It might have been like 6 months or something. But the point was they gave me like a $500 gift card. And I was like, you know what? It's a gift card. I can spend it on anything. So of course I'm going to spend it on records. So here's another collection of stuff over the last couple weeks. It goes into like a month and a half ago. This is just, basically it's a whole bunch of stuff I haven't shown yet and that I didn't put away. So I'm going to show them now. And go from there. Now, the first stop I made with my little gift card, I will say, is to Acoustic Sounds. Those who know Acoustic Sounds, you know, a great, I guess, retailer, label, pressing plant, all of the things. But there was something very, very specific. Well, actually, all of these things were specifically I was looking for off of Acoustic Sounds. And so I used the first part of that gift card on these things. And the first one is something I've been holding off on for a while. I'm so glad I picked it up. And that is Miles Davis, Birth of the Blue. This sort of what it sounds like. You know, I guess outtakes or other sessions from the Kind of Blue sessions. You know, arguably the greatest jazz record of all time. I mean, definitely the most important jazz record maybe of all time, and obviously I'm a huge fan of this record and Miles Davis, so this was cool. This was never before heard stuff. Gets the full audiophile treatment from the original tapes, you know, all that kind of stuff. Beautiful packaging, superior packaging, so well done. And obviously, like, enough people know about Kind of Blue as a record, but this was really cool. This fits so well obviously within that record and to kind of have the session. So I knew when they were doing this, I wanted to get it. Again, they did this last year at some point and I just now picked it up. So there's that. But yeah, Birth of the Blue, obviously with that incredible lineup of Miles, Julian Cannonball Adderley, John Coltrane, Bill Evans, Paul Chambers, and Jimmy Cobb. Just outstanding. So glad I picked that up. The complete other end of the musical spectrum, this was a recent reissue of a vinyl release that has not seen a reissue, I don't think, since maybe originally. I don't know, but actual copies of it went for so much money, so I was desperately waiting for it to get reissued, and it finally did. And that is 2011's Heritage from Opeth. Music on vinyl release. This is limited, I believe, to 5,000 on some kind of fancy red marble, black and red marble thing. So Opeth, I've talked about them a lot. I mean, Opeth had a great year last year, as everybody was talking about The Last Will and Testament, which was an amazing record. You know, they started off as a Swedish, kind of closer to black metal, death metal band in the 90s and throughout the early 2000s as they completely migrated more to progressive death metal. But this was such a important album, I believe, you know, in their discography in 2011, because this is what really noted the transition, moving away from the death growls and death metal into more of a classic progressive rock sort of style. So I think when classic Opeth fans heard this the first time, they're like, what? Where are my Cookie Monster growls? No! But for the people who, like me, who were not a fan of the death growls, this was like the entry point. So, you know, again, this was 2011 and they didn't, switch the side. You know, this was 2011 and they didn't return to the death growls until just last year, 2024's Last Will and Testament. So, yeah, I mean, a really, really great record. If you're kind of scared by Opeth or death metal, this is not that. This is more, again, of like a classic progressive title, but still very, very dark and very moody. I mean, what a cover that is with, you know, a whole Tree of Life thing and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I was so excited for this, for Heritage to get another vinyl reissue, and yeah, awesome, glad to have it. This next one I got because it was half off, so it was only $30, and I had kind of been looking at it for a while. And that is a part of the, of course, amazing, let's see if I can get out of the sleeve here, the amazing Zappa estate catalog. And this is Frank Zappa and the Mothers, December 10th, 1971 at the Rainbow. So triple LP, this is the Flo and Eddie period, which I know a lot of Zappa people are not crazy about. I'm not crazy about it. I like it. I'm not offended by it, but it's certainly not my go-to if I really want to hear Zappa. I will say, though, they're pretty tame. It's not just, them up there, whatever, making dick jokes and stuff, although there are plenty of dick jokes. So yeah, it's good. Now, this show itself has a little bit of fame because this was the actual show where Frank was pushed off the stage by some crazed fan who had a girlfriend or a wife who was obsessed with Frank. So he went up there to kill him, pushed him off the stage, and nearly killed Frank, who then was up in the hospital or whatever for a month. So it was actually this show that happened, which is pretty wild. But yeah, triple LP, live Zappa. I'm such a big Frank Zappa fan, so this was really cool to add to the catalog. And again, it was half off, so I think I paid maybe $30 for it. But yeah, amazing stuff. Can't go wrong with Zappa. Here's a record that has been sort of on my list for a while, and I know I say that a lot. I know there's a lot of records that have been on my list for a while, and always will be. And when I get one, I will tell you that it's been on my list for a while. But I've heard so much great things about this, and finally had a chance to listen to it, and absolutely loved it. And that is Legion Leaf from Fairport Convention, the great UK folky, progressive sort of folk band. I have Angel Delight and Unhalf Bricking. Those are the other two Fairport Convention records I have. But this was the thing that I heard so many people talking about all the time. You gotta do Legion Leaf, Man, I loved it. A lot of what I understand are sort of some of these like classical, Celtic type standards. Just amazing, a beautiful record in so many ways. And I'm sort of trying to tip my toes into this whole UK progressive folk thing. People wouldn't use capital P progressive with Fairport Convention the same way they might not use it with like a Pentangle, but they're another one of those bands. FBA, if you're out there watching, I know that this has been sort of a rabbit hole that you've been getting into recently. I own nothing of Pentangle, shockingly enough, but it's something I want to delve more into. So yeah, I absolutely loved this record. Very, very cool. Fairport Convention. Legion Leaf, was this 1970, I believe? Outstanding. Let's give a shout out to our neighbors up north, and especially giving a shout out to our neighbors up north and their sovereignty with some Canadian artists. And this is a band that I tell all of my Canadian friends that every time I'm out looking, I always go and look for this band, and I can never find them, ever. And finally I found one. I don't know where it ranks in the catalog. All I know is that I played it and I fucking loved it. And that is Universal Juveniles from Max Webster. What I think is kind of funny, right, is that I always joke that, do people know where to categorize Max Webster? Do they put it in the M's for Max Webster? Do they put it in the W's for Max Webster? Well, most people would say, well, if the band is Max Webster, then you would put it in M. But if it's a person, Max Webster, then you would put it in W. Well, this is named for the band, not a person. So it should be under M. But at any rate, I think I found this under W. The point is, this is Universal Juveniles. I believe this came out in 1980. Of course, Kim Mitchell leading the way here before he went solo and had a whole bunch of cool stuff happen. But just goofy band. Look at that receding hairline. How about that? All that kind of stuff. And of course, this does feature Rush on what song is it on here? Oh boy, I forget. Rush is on one of these songs, all of them. They toured with Rush. They were both on the Anthem label. They're kind of like, whatever you want to call it, sister act type things. But yeah, again, I know there's like a handful of these Max Webster records that people hold in much higher regard than this one. But just as an album, I really like this a lot. So of course, if anybody sees any Max Webster and they're like, Alex, we have Max Webster for you, call me ho. I'll get the stuff to you. We'll make it work. Max Webster, cool stuff. This is something I had pre-order literally like a year ago. it got released, it got sold out immediately, and then I kind of forgot I had the pre-order out there because I discontinued my membership, but such is life. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I might sell it. But that is the Vinyl Me Please reissue of Black Sabbath's Master of Reality. So yeah, Vinyl Me Please put this out. It sold out, went gangbusters, super quick, shot up in value, all that type of stuff. I think this is now like an $80 record maybe. It doesn't matter. But this is when I was in my audiophile, sort of phase, I guess, of collecting, and I was a member of Vinyl Me Please, and I wanted this one, and I didn't get a chance to get it at first. And then I got a shipping notification like a week ago, and I was like, what is shipping? And I was like, oh, I totally forgot I had this. So yeah, I mean, Master of Reality, everybody knows this record. Maybe, I mean, the thing is with Black Sabbath stuff, I mean, there's probably 5 records that I say at any given time could be my favorite, and this is one of them. So incredible record, important record, and this is on a pretty dope color, I will say. I will take this out. Obviously matching that. Yeah, it's pretty sick, bruh, type stuff. So yeah, Black Sabbath, Master of Reality. Here's another thing that was sort of on, I don't know, it was a deal. This stuff is hard to find, man. And the reissues for this, because they're like imports from the UK, are usually like $40-45 or something. But this was on Amazon, I think for $15. I snagged it. I just had to wait like a month for it. And it finally came in. And that is The Least We Can Do Is Wave to Each Other from Graaf Generator. I've talked about Graaf Generator a lot over the last several weeks because I've gotten a handful of their records. But yeah, this was $15 I paid for this. That price no longer exists. This is the 3rd release from Graaf, and one of my favorites. I absolutely love this record. Kind of interesting cover there. That reminds me of like a Pokeball. Do you remember Pokeballs? Anyway, poke these balls. Anyway, good stuff. A record like this has some, just obviously your typical kind of Peter Hamill aggression in the lyrics, but also some beautiful moments in songs like Refugees, Out of My Book, stuff like that. So yeah, I totally love this. And originals are hard to find. So if I get a brand new one for $15, give it to me. Give it to me, baby. Okay. More jazz. This was something I've been holding off on a while. Used a little bit of a gift card for this one as well. And this is Southside Soul from the Wright Trio. Now, that is probably not a household name for a lot of jazz people, but I saw What Ken Brown, my favorite jazz channel on YouTube, by the way, _Ken_Brown, or WCB Jazz, whatever. He's got the YouTube and Instagram. He was talking about this a lot, and it was on sale for about $25. So I picked it up. Man, I love this. It's what it sounds like. It's jazz trio stuff, but it is sort of that South Side soul. It's a soulful, it's a little bit bluesier, it's not just like your whimsical, it's like if Bill Evans is like winter trio stuff, this is like summer trio stuff. This is like crank open the windows, blast it loud, just awesome, soulful, bluesy jazz trio stuff. Of course, part of the OJC series from Craft Recordings. Kevin Gray, Coherent Audio, all that fun shit that we all love talking about. So yeah, that blew my mind. I was so glad to pick that up. Here was a $3 banger that I picked up because I had heard so much about it. I believe, I could be wrong here, but you all know Steve. A is for Alice, B is for Bob, all that kind of stuff. I believe he ranks this as a top 5 live record of all time. And I own nothing of this band, but I feel like they're a band. And I think he's sort of like co-signed this, where it's like, if you're going to own one thing, get the live record. But that is Raunch and Roll from Black Oak, Arkansas. Black Oak, Arkansas is from Black Oak, which is a city in Arkansas. But yeah, kind of southern rock. It's boogie rock. Raunch and Roll is like the perfect title for this record and this band, because they're just raunchy and just dirty, and just, you can like feel the sweat coming from them. You can smell, you got the stank. You can actually like hear the stank coming off of them as they're performing, especially with the song Hot and Nasty. I mean, that's what this record is, man. It is hot and it is nasty. But it was $3 and it just rocks. Who's that guy? What's his name? Like Dandy Butthole or something? Somebody help me out there. Yeah. Cool stuff though. I mean, what a great like Friday night, drink cheap beer sort of record. Amazing. I believe Tommy Aldridge is on here playing the drums. Somebody would be able to help me with that. Yeah, Tommy Aldridge is on there. So all you metal fans of later years, be able to appreciate that. But yeah, a cool record for sure. This was kind of fun. I actually heard about this I might have heard about this through Steve Carlson. I was unaware of it. You know, I'm always on sort of a mission to find more Ohio rock history bands, right? I always think that's a really cool bit, just to kind of focus on home and all these different things. And so this was a record that was released back in 1969 or so on Parallax Records, but got reissued by Shake It Records. Shake It Records is a record store, an amazing record store in Cincinnati, and I guess kind of a label, but they reissued The Sacred Mushroom. Yeah, look at that. If that is not going to get me flagged for something, I don't know, because that is one stanky purple yogurt slinging cockbag right there. Anyway, so yeah, The Sacred Mushroom. This is bluesy psyche of, you know, of the early days. One and done record as far as I am concerned. Cool stuff. Again, a great kind of reissue on Shake It, as they would say. And yeah, this is super cool. Now, I think, again, one and done, and this kind of blew my mind because there's no way, is I had heard that members of this band went on to form and or join the Pure Prairie League, you know, Annie, What You Want to Do, which are they from Cincinnati? That doesn't make sense to me, but I guess they could be. Yeah, The Sacred Mushroom. What a time to be alive with them, you know, knocking at your door, mushroom stamp style. These next two records, okay, I got three left. These next two are kind of a twofer. I went to see this band maybe a month ago at this point, and they were just freaking awesome. I had heard about them a lot, and they're like, you got to see these guys live, and they blew my mind. So, of course, when I was there, I had to buy a couple of records, and that is the last, well, I don't know if it's the last two. It might be. But that is, this is certainly their most recent. I'm talking about King Buffalo. This is Regenerator, and this is The Burden of Restlessness. Do a little thing there. Yeah, I mean, this is cool, spacey, psyche, stonery, little dirgy at times, a little more spacey at times. These guys are not out of Buffalo. I believe they're actually out of Rochester. But yeah, just awesome, cool, spacey, not even spacey psyche. I mean, it is pretty much stoner, psychedelic, awesome stuff. Ripping guitars. I think they're just a trio maybe. Yeah, absolutely blew my mind. If you don't know King Buffalo and you're into that sort of stuff, give them a stream, give them a look, whatever you need to do with it. And last but not least, this is probably going to be my next rabbit hole. Again, shout outs to Canada and all they're enduring right now with the nonsense going on in the world. But I totally see this going to be a rabbit hole artist. This is now my second album from him, and I absolutely love it. Maybe not as much as the first, but quite a bit. And that is Songs of Love and Hate, the third record, I think, from Leonard Cohen. This was the Record Store Day Black Friday release from several years ago, maybe 2020, 2021. Comes on white wax. I believe this might have been Ryan Smith cut, so, you know, technically you got some audiophile nonsense there, which is cool. Yeah, I absolutely love this. I mean, yeah, it's like, you know, he's not a singer in the historical, I guess, sense or in the traditional sense, but man, his writing and the moodiness and just everything about it, man, it's like light a candle, turn the lights down low, and start questioning your whole life with some Leonard in your life, man. That's what it's all about. So, yeah, that's it. Another video of a bunch of shit I've bought. Hope everybody's doing well out there, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, take care of yourselves. See you on the next one. Bye.